August of 2020, this defendant and co-defendant lured Harry Barkley, the victim, over to a house in Georgetown County where this defendant then shot Harry Barkley 6 times. At that point, they wrapped Mr. Barkley's body up in several sheets, put him in the back of a car, took him to a burn pit, and then began burning his body and his clothing. When they discovered that his body would not burn all of the way, there were still parts that were there. They took the remaining parts of Mr. Barkley's body, took an axe, and took him to another location, this one in Williamsburg County, where they began chopping up his body and distributed the body in Williamsburg County. Your Honor, this defendant then went on the run. Once law enforcement began to close in on this defendant, he went on the run. He fled to Tennessee. He fled from law enforcement multiple times. He got into an hour-and-a-half car chase, high-speed car chase with law enforcement up there. He is a flight risk, and he is a danger to the community.
My client's 23 years old. He is an auto mechanic. As you heard, he has a relatively minimal record. This is an awful case. This is the worst of the worst. Some things that should not ever happen to anybody. However, as far as my client is concerned, all the evidence the state has comes from the co-defendant. It is her statements that put him there, nothing else. There's no cell phone records, there's no DNA. There's really no other witnesses other than this one person who took police to all these places and said that he forced her to be there. He did all these awful things and then just left her to hold the secrets forever and not tell anyone. I find that to be really interesting that someone would just leave someone there with this information and blame someone that really has no motive to do anything. He had no motive to steal anything, no motive to hurt him. It was just an acquaintance. Miss Ashley, however, has different motivation. They had a different thing going on. My client's been held. He was arrested on June 10th in Tennessee. He was staying in Tennessee with his grandmother, working as a mechanic. He didn't flee because he was here in town for approximately 6 months. He moved to Columbia, working, after this incident occurred. So he didn't flee immediately, as they would say. He found work other places. He went to Tennessee with his family. Now, he did run from police. The reason he says he ran from police is he didn't have a license. He shouldn't have been driving, so he didn't want to get arrested. There's a lot of evidence that has not been looked into. We've given names of other witnesses. There have been people that have given information as to other people involved, as to other people that may have done it, as to other motivations. And as of yet, we haven't seen much there. We would ask for a bond that's reasonable, considering that we're probably 6 months to a year away because the investigation is still ongoing, from what I understand. We're actually going to do our own because I've been giving information to the solicitor's office to the state to look into this. And we're kind of spinning our wheels. We would ask that he be placed on house arrest if that was something that the court would consider, with an ankle monitor. He would stay with his father and Andrew.
Your Honor, actually, I think that him going through an hour-and-a-half long car chase in Tennessee, high speed, where he hit another officer's vehicle, is more than just not having a license. I mean, I would like to point that out. Additionally, Your Honor, this case has already been on the trial roster one time. I believe it was in January. We have no control over the trial docket, as you know. Therefore, the statements that this is a long way off for trial, I don't believe that those are exactly accurate. It's already been on the trial roster once. We do expect it to be on the trial roster fairly soon again. So we do expect to try this case in the coming year, especially since it is such an old case.
I'm here today to ask you to deny bond on Eric Hempel. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my family, and Harry Barkley. I think it goes without being said of how much myself and my family love and miss Harry unconditionally. The toughest thing about the loss of Harry is how we lost Harry to a senseless act of violence by someone who does not value someone else's life. Mr. Eric Hempel was the person accused of this senseless act. In recent events inside of Georgetown County, someone was also like Mr. Hempel accused of murder, in which he was ultimately awarded bond. Once released on bond, this individual took another life once again. So I understand, I stand here today not only asking you to protect my family and my loved ones, but also to protect my community and the loved ones of every person in this courtroom. But I strongly feel that Mr. Hempel is a danger to this community and my loved ones. This is a pain that I wish on no one, a pain that keeps you up at night. This is a trauma that makes you look out the window at random times. This is a hurt that puts tears in your eyes without a warning. This is a grief that never gets easier and you never get over. This is a void that can never be filled. Harry is a best friend, a cousin, an uncle, a brother, and a son that can never be replaced.
On the way here, I stopped at the place where my son was killed and shot because I have no place to go visit him at a gravesite. So I have a cross on a tree with his picture there where he was shot. I heard every day that my son was taken from me. I beg of you to keep him in jail.
Given the fact that you say y'all lived all over in Tennessee, regardless, it was a high-speed chase from law enforcement there, I find that you do pose a risk of flight. Also, given the allegations in this case, I find that there is a threat of harm, so I want to deny